So, good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to today's webinar on foods and mood, optimizing nutrition for peak performance. We are excited to have you all here as we explore how nutrition can make real difference in our life, our focus, energy, and productivity. So, before we begin, a quick reminder to all: if you want to speak, please raise your hands. I'll allow you to speak. If you want to have any questions, feel free to drop down them in a Q&A questions, and we'll address them at the end. So, thank you, Soumya, for agreeing doing this session to us. It's my honor to introduce you. So today's session we are having a Soumya is an Australian board certified dietitian and nutrition and the founder of Nourished with over 5 years of experience. So she has worked with more than 10 clinics and guided 1500 plus individuals in overcoming challenges like eating disorder, diabetes, ADHD, and PCOS. Beyond our clinical work, Soumya collaborated with startups like Deisha India and conducted many webinars to make nutrition simple, practical, and enjoyable. So today she brings her wealth of experience to help us all achieve peak performance through smart nutrition choice. So without further delay, let's get started. Please join me in welcoming Soumya. So Soumya, the virtual stage is yours. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks, Ritu. Thank you for the introduction. I think I'll just get started by sharing my screen first. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to join today's session. I'm really excited to talk about something that we all experience, but we may not fully understand, and which is how the food we eat impacts our mood, energy, and our productivity. So before we get started, I just wanted to throw some mind-boggling facts out there. When I was told that this was the topic that I had to do a session on, I just did a little digging to see what the stats are like. And it was mind-boggling for me that employees who eat unhealthy food are 66% more likely to be less productive than those who eat healthy food. Now, unhealthy food and healthy food are very broad definitions. So we will be getting into what would healthy food or a healthy lifestyle look like. Usually the role that why do we say that healthy food would impact your productivity? It is because the first and the most important one is cognitive function. Cognitive function is nothing but the way your brain functions, right? So in your energy levels, the way you think, your irritability, all of that's related to cognitive function. And nutrition affects it positively and negatively. So healthy food will influence your cognitive function positively. Now, obviously, a healthy diet can improve your energy levels and your motivation. Hence, you'll start enjoying coming to work and it won't feel like a task. Eating complex carbs or having too much of caffeine can also cause stress and anxiety. A healthy diet has also been known to improve your immunity, which in turn will reduce absenteeism. So this was just something I wanted to throw out there, food for thought kind of thing. But before we get started, I want everyone to take your phones out, scan this QR code. There will be a live polling that we'd be doing. I'll just give you all a couple of seconds before we hop onto the live polling session. Don't start answering the questions. We will answer the questions together. So just scan this and it'll take you all to a page. Okay, I'm heading over there. Hoping everyone's gotten scan this. Cool, perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You can speak in Hindi also a little bit. Few people, mothers also joining. So
My Hindi is not that great, but if anyone has any doubts, please put your questions down and I'll try answering them in Hindi.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I'm just going to start this. If you all got the first question up, just start answering it. So according to you, does your food affect your mood? The people who have said not really, I mean, we'll talk after the session, but honestly, I hope the session changes that ideology. But yes, food does definitely influence one's mood. And you might not realize how it's doing it, but there will be some minor or major effect. The next question will pop up. On a regular working day, what are some of the emotions or mood you experience? There are no options here, but you just type it up. The reason where I put that out there is towards the end of it, if I can address some of those emotions or some of those mood, happiness, lovely. In the end, so I will do that. Yeah. Sleeping or sleepiness, hungry, tiredness. Okay. Anything else? Frustration, very common one. Workaholic, irritated, sleepy, irritable, anxiety, boredom, lazy. Yeah, so this is quite a bit, quite a few emotions that everyone's talking about. And some of them are repeated, some of them are very different. I like that there are positives and negatives both here. Yep, sporty, sad. Perfect. Cool. So we'll address all of those, how the negatives can be turned into positives, or how we can address them as well in this session. The next question is, what is your biggest challenge in maintaining a healthy lifestyle? Lack of time, lack of knowledge, cravings for unhealthy snacks, or not motivated and you're waiting for that tomorrow I'll start. Yeah. A lot of people are not motivated. So let me tell you one thing. So I had a patient who came to me the other day, and she just recently started. I think she was a graduate, and she came to me because she's put on almost 10 kilos since she started working, and that was about a 6 months time. So we kept going into depths on, why hasn't she started yet? And she kept saying, no, I'm just not motivated enough. There's a lot of work on my plate. I've just started. There's a lot of competition at work as well, and I want that promotion. The only thing I told her was, you're just starting your career, you're at the start of it. So tomorrow is not going to be any easier than yesterday. It's only going to get difficult, and it's only going to get more and more difficult to start eating healthy or thinking healthy or starting a healthy way of living, right? Because tomorrow you'll have a promotion. That means you'll have 10 more responsibilities. So that all you need to think of is, this is how your life is going to be starting from now, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later. This is how it's going to be. Hope if you think that at a managerial position you'll have less work, I'm sorry to break that bubble, but it's going to be worse. So that tomorrow I'll start has to be today, and don't have New Year resolutions, because you'll only disappoint yourself. Just start tomorrow or today, but get started. Don't wait for that one day I'll start. Cool. Perfect. So when do you usually drink your first cup of tea or coffee? As soon as you wake up, with breakfast, after breakfast, and there's no first and last cup in a day. I drink whenever I want. Yeah. So I had a feeling everyone would have their first cup of coffee as soon as they wake up. I honestly thought people would choose a lot of the day option because of caffeine reliance, but yes. We'll get to when should you be drinking your first cup of tea or coffee, but this was just for my knowledge. Do you make a conscious effort to eat protein in every meal? Of course, not really. I just have veggies with carbs in all meals. So protein would be dals, eggs, chicken, paneer, tofu, rajma, chole, all of that. A lot of people would usually just take rice and a curry for lunch rather than taking any form of protein with them. Yeah, I kind of guess that a lot of people would do that. They would do rice and a type of vegetable curry. That's it. We'll get to the role of protein, the role that protein plays as well. Okay, next and most important, do you take any supplements or do any diet tricks or something like that to boost your performance? For example, a lot of people think having 5 badams in the morning help. A lot of people have gotten onto this trend of Shilajit and things like that. So do you have any supplements or anything like that to just help improve your performance? Perfect. Glad. So there are certain dietary tricks that help and certain supplements as well, but you really need to know what's right and what's wrong and what people are just talking about. So that is something we'll get to as well. This is the last question. Do you prioritize your sleep and workout every day? I have to. This is how I will need to live my life, and I can't let my mental health and physical health take a toll. B, work comes first, everything else comes afterwards. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Cool. Perfect. Amazing. I think this gave all of us a little information or an insight into how everyone think. There's no right or wrong answer over here, but it was just something that I wanted to do in order to understand the way everyone think or where they're coming from. Okay. So I'm going back to the presentation. Cool. So, in today's session, we all know that there are these moments when we feel sluggish after a meal or we feel irritated after we've skipped one. And that's exactly what we are going to deep dive into today, which is the connection between nutrition and our mental and physical well being. Now, this session is specifically tailored for health professionals like you, corporate employees, and shift workers who face long hours, tight deadlines, and also irregular eating schedule. So today, what you can expect is that we will be talking about how you can optimize your caffeine intake, the importance of protein, staying hydrated, balancing your macronutrients, and making sure you're having the right micronutrients as well to keep you energized and focused throughout the day. By the end of the session, I am hoping that you will be able to have that you'll be able to understand practical ways on how you can boost your mood and your energy levels, but also enhance your work performances. Cool. So we get started with before that, this is something that I actually wanted to talk about. A lot of people think that if you eat good food, then your mood's also going to be great. I feel it's a cycle, because if you're eating the right food, yes, your mood's great, but if your mood is great, only then will you choose the right kind of food. If you're feeling low, if you're feeling lethargic, obviously you're not going to sit and cook your meals or anything like that. You'll just order in, and then you'll order something like biryani or chicken 65, or you'll try something from a new restaurant or something like that. So I believe that the food and mood is interlinked, and it's not just a one-way thing where you eat good food and your mood's going to be suddenly boosted, but it's something that will take time. Following a healthy eating habit for at least a week, and you'll start seeing those benefits in your mood as well. So I wanted to start off with caffeine. That's my personal favorite. This is something that most of us rely on daily, which is our daily dose of caffeine, especially in the morning as soon as we wake up. Whether it is a steaming hot cup of a masala chai or a strong filter coffee, or even just a cappuccino from your favorite coffee store, I think now it's become more or less a cultural staple at our workplace. But here's the thing. While caffeine improves your alertness, and it's actually a double-edged sword. Too much of it or consuming it at the wrong timings can cause a lot of energy crashes, and it also disrupts your sleep. So you might be thinking that, okay, but I want to have caffeine. I like coffee. I like tea, but when do I have it? So good rule of thumb is to enjoy your morning chai or your coffee before 2 p.m., not after 2 p.m., so it doesn't interfere with your sleep cycle. Now, I usually like telling people not to have coffee as soon as you wake up in the morning, coffee or tea as soon as you wake up in the morning. In the long run, it can lead to a lot of reflux issues and a lot of digestion issues, meaning that the nutrients will not get absorbed properly. So the ideal time to have your coffee, I would say, is that 11 o'clock time, only because you'll have lunch by, let's say, 1:30, 1:30 or something like that. That's enough of an energy boost to give you till about 2 o'clock. So caffeine only has a life of about 3 to 4 hours. After that, you'll start feeling low. If you have caffeine at, let's say, 8 in the morning or as soon as you wake up, you'll start feeling sleepy by 11 o'clock. And then your entire day, you'll feel sleepy. You'll rely on coffee. You'll have lunch. After lunch, you're feeling even more sleepy. So then you'll go have another cup at 2 o'clock. And then by the time you're home, you're not sleepy because you've had so much coffee in the wrong time, right? So the best time to have coffee is that 11 a.m. sweet spot time. But if you want to have 2 cups of coffee, completely fine. Just do it before 2 p.m. Do it before 2 p.m. and do it after breakfast. So that's your time when you should be having coffee. Now, if you feel you need multiple cups of coffee or tea to get throughout the day, try different alternatives like herbal teas such as tulsi or ginger tea, or you can try different hydrating drinks like buttermilk or coconut water. These don't only keep you refreshed and hydrated, but they also reduce your dependency on caffeine. Now, lastly, a lot of people after these sessions, they decide to, you know what, okay, I don't need coffee, let me just get off it. Do not go cold turkey. Do not stop coffee immediately. Coffee is the most widely sold legal drug out there. So you will have withdrawal symptoms of that, such as headaches. You'll want to go back to having coffee, all of that, right? So to avoid it, instead of having 4 cups in a day, reduce it to 2 cups and replace it with some other beverage. And then gradually start working your way through it. Don't just stop suddenly. Okay. The second and the most important thing is protein, right? Now, protein is one of the most underrated nutrients when it comes to food, mood, and performance. A lot of people think I'm just supposed to have protein if I want to build muscle or if I'm going to the gym. Not true. Protein is the building block of different neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine. Serotonin and dopamines are two such hormones that basically play a very important role in regulating your mood and reducing your stress. Protein is the building block for those neurotransmitters. So if you don't have protein in every meal, one, it's not going to fill you up. Two, your meals are not going to fill you up. And two, serotonin and dopamine will not be produced in levels they're supposed to be produced. Now, Indian diets often rely heavily on carbs, but incorporating more protein can make a world of a difference here. So think of foods like dal, paneer, tofu, legumes, chicken, fish, eggs, all of these. They don't only stabilize your sugar levels, but they also keep you full and energized throughout the day. Now, a lot of y'all might be thinking, how do I add protein to meals? It just seems like a little difficult thing to do. A lot of people have that doubt, right? So first, I tell people, if you're taking food from your house, the most easiest way to add protein into your diet is if you're having rice for lunch, you can make a khichdi with dal and chawal together. You can cook both of them together instead of cooking both of them separately. Some people like adding like a tadka of sambar to that khichdi to add a little spice. So that's something you can do as well. You convert it into like a veg pulao, but with the dal. So you can cook all of that together. The other option is when you're making your sabji, you throw in some protein over there. So things like paneer, tofu. If you're a non-vegetarian, you can do something like palak chicken, add some vegetable to your protein, things like that. So you can do both of them. Now, I usually tell people, if you have the time, you can pair it separately. So you can make brown rice, you can make some dal, and you can take some vegetables with it. Breakfast, you can do your idlis and dosas completely fine, but either you add maybe some grated paneer inside your dosa, or you break an egg on top of your dosa, or you can have a protein shake along with your breakfast. Starting your day with protein will give you that energy boost that you need, and it'll keep you happy throughout the day, given the fact that your stomach feels full. Okay. One thing I want everyone to remember is that protein isn't just for bodybuilders. It is essential for every single person. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, protein is mandatory. In some of the next slides, we'll be talking about how you can incorporate protein more easily into your diets.
Yeah.
For
So
now,
the question,
yes.
yeah. There is a question, is it safe to take protein powder?
So we'll answer all those questions towards the end, only because once I start answering questions, then they won't stop. So
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
finish all of that. But yes, answering that question, it is safe to take protein powder, and I'll get to that towards the end. So all your questions, just keep typing them down, and we'll get to every single question in the end. I hope that's okay. Cool. The last and the most important thing over here. So, oh, sorry, I'm just going back a little. The reason I've kept the presentation a little short just to accommodate everyone's questions, because I feel like a lot of people in these sessions, people want to ask more questions rather than listening to me talk about these slides. So yeah, so I've saved ample of time to go through all your questions. So don't worry about that. Cool. The last and the most important thing is hydration. Now, hydration is a very important key player in nutrition. Even mild hydration leads to irritability and fatigue. Now, whenever you are working longer hours, especially in air conditions and air conditioned environments, it becomes a little easy to forget to drink water. So, what I usually tell people is to aim for at least 8 to 10 glasses of water, or if you want to take things up a notch, calculate how much fluids you need in a day. So 35 ml per kg body weight. 35 ml into your weight will give you the number of the ml that you're supposed to be drinking in a day. However, don't solely rely on that number. I ask people to look at the color of their pee. If the color of your pee is lemon yellow or deep yellow, you're not having enough of water. You need to take it up a notch. The color of your pee is supposed to be a very, very, very light yellow. It does not have to be transparent like water, but it has to be a very light yellow. Okay. Now, ideally, what I tell people to also do is there is this thing called as Beyond Waters. If you'll see Shark Tank, you'll probably would have seen it. Think they came within the first season or so. They're basically these small bottles that you can add drops of to water to make them like flavored water. So they're sugar free. They have a lot of nutrients in it, and it's dietitian approved. So you can definitely try that. Adding coconut water, buttermilk, all of that to your routine is also something that will help you. Now, the last point on this slide, I wanted to put that into the caffeine slide, but I had it here because this is still considered to be part of your water intake. So having herbal teas, green teas, anything that does not have caffeine in it and is a tea is considered to contribute to your water intake or your fluid intake in a day. Okay. Now, just when you think we're done, we're not. We just have a little more to go. So, whatever I've just told you all, these are the three main points, which is your caffeine intake, hydration, and protein. These three main points, along with a healthy plate, is something that's going to improve your mood throughout the day. Now, this is something I want everyone to take a photo of. It's going to be a little easier for you all to understand how your plate is supposed to look like if you take a photo, okay? If you have the photo with you. Now, a balanced meal is something that a lot of people use very often or very randomly without knowing what it actually is. It does not mean equal quantities of all food groups. It means the actual quantity your body requires and that portion only, right? A balanced meal is just the correct combination of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and fibers, right? Now, if you're looking at your plate, right, your entire plate's divided into three parts. 50% of your plate or half your plate is different vegetables. Now, vegetables of any sort other than potato is something I would consider to put at this part of the plate. So a lot of people, what they prefer doing is they'll take, that 50% of your plate, they divide it further. They take 25% of a vegetable curry or a sabji and the other 25% of cucumber or carrot or some raw vegetable, and they convert it to a raita or they just have it by itself. So that's how you get your 50% of vegetable. The other 50% of the plates divided again into 25 and 25. The 25% is rice. Now, it does not necessarily have to be brown rice. It can be white rice. It can be godum rava or any other form of rava. It can be millets. It can be quinoa. It can be a roti, any kind of carbohydrate. I ask people to try and change the types of carbohydrates instead of just sticking to one type of carbohydrate. Then coming to your protein, here there's chicken. This is approximately about 150 grams of chicken, but you can replace it with a vegetarian source, which is about 100 grams of paneer or a cup of dal or some chole, rajma, things like that. Now, one important thing over here that's there is this green thing that you see over here. That's avocado or healthy fats. Healthy fats does not mean butter, margarine. Ghee, it's debatable. I don't believe that ghee would be considered as a healthy fat, only given what research is saying, but Ayurveda would say otherwise. So that's still a debate in the air. But adding some form of healthy fats, even your normal cooking oil, making sure if that's a cold pressed oil and using that for cooking, that is something that will help you as well. So ideally, that's how your plate is supposed to look. Now, this is something I've pulled out of my clients' photos that they've sent me. So these are actual people who've given me these photos. So I'm just going to take you all through what I feel your plates should look like. So for starters, as soon as you wake up, have a glass of water. You can choose to add some kind of condiment. For example, methi seeds is something that will help lower your sugar levels. Ajwain or saunf is something that will help with acidity issues. So that is one option. And then I ask people to start their day with fiber instead of fat. A lot of people, so the concept of bulletproof coffee and all of that started by adding ghee in their coffee or having nuts in the morning, only because people feel that if you have a lot of fat in the morning, it's something that will help keep your cravings at bay. I would say otherwise. The fat helps for a lot of people, but the fiber does too. This is not a fruit juice. This is a combination of a fruit and a vegetable juice. It's not one of those huge glasses you'll see on YouTube and stuff. It's just a cup, about 250 ml. So combinations of different fruits and vegetable juices. So your ABC juice or a beetroot pomegranate tomato juice, ashgod, things like that. If you're not into juicing, you can just have a fruit in the morning and that's perfectly fine. Next, coming to your breakfast. So breakfast, if you see, there is someone who's had poha and someone who's had upma. You can still continue doing the same, but you need to add some form of protein, either in the form of egg or some form of vegetarian protein in the form of chana, and veggies as well. So if your poha or your upma does not have a lot of veggies, if you have the time, you can saute some veggies. You don't have the time, just chop up some cucumber. This will prevent a sugar spike from happening, meaning that your energy levels will remain constant throughout until lunch rather than increasing suddenly and then dropping, right? The other option over here that we have is your lunch. So coming to your lunch, you can do rice, you can do roti, completely your choice. This person chose to do roti with a vegetable curry, a chole sabji, and some cucumber and carrot. So it's not complicated at all. This person chose to do some rice. So that rice is not white rice. It's called Kerala Mata rice or red rice. Along with a sabji over here, I think it's chikuduka if I'm not wrong, and a dal along with some vegetables here. The person's done green chilies only because they like spice and for no other reason. Don't go having a cup of green chilies considering it to be salad because it's not. Then we're coming to the dinner option. The reason I kept snacks last is because I want to really spend some time on that. So dinner, ideally, I would prefer dinner being low carb because when you sleep in the night, your body does not require so much energy. If you're going to overeat carbohydrates for dinner, meaning if you're going to have a lot of rice, a lot of roti, or finish your day, come back home and have a biryani for dinner, you're not helping yourself. What's going to happen is there's so much energy in your body, so much sugar circulating, your body doesn't know what to do with it. It can't burn it because you're sleeping. So there's very little energy release that happens. So what your body does is it converts it into fat and it stores it as fat. So that's how you end up gaining weight. The person on the left, so this box over here, that person subscribed for a meal service where she didn't have time to prepare her meal. So she just subscribed for a meal service. The other people obviously took the effort to meal prep and store their food so they don't have to come back and cook. The last and the most, not one of the last slides, is the snacks. You all can take a photo of this if you all want to, because it has quite a few healthy snack options mentioned on that. There's another page that are basically my favorite snack options that I have that I let other people have as well. A peanut butter sandwich, makhana. There's this brand called Millie. They have puffed quinoa puffs, I think is what it's called. It tastes exactly like Cheetos, so that's why that's one of my favorite. Popcorn's also a good idea. Puffed rice is a great idea. Sprouts, so you can convert your sprouts into a chart. So a lot of people take some sprouts and they add like tomato, onion, cucumber in one box, and then they carry the other box with puffed rice. When they want to have it, they mix all of that together like a bhel, and then they have it. So these are some great options for snacks. Some of these snacks that are available commercially that y'all don't need to rely on to like rely on yourselves to sit and cook that, or you can't give me an excuse saying, Arey, I'm to in the office, where will I make all of this? This slide is for y'all. So Epigamia has recently started a high protein yogurt. It's amazing. Trust me, I've tried it. It's recently come out in the market, I think a week ago or so. It's available on Swiggy Instamart. I think best deal ever, you'll get it for 85 rupees, a small tub, and it's a small tub, right? So you can add some dry fruits. So you can add some dry fruits, about a handful to that, and you can have that as a snack. This is the bhel that I told you all about. If you all want to put in a little effort, if you all don't have the time, but you all have a bhel wala bhaiya outside or like a chaat bandi outside, you can go and ask him to make a bhel for you, but just tell him not to add a lot of imli chutney. This is the jawar puff that I was talking about from Mille. Again, the quantity is a lot, so you can get one packet can easily last you about 3 snacks. So you can get those paper clips and you can keep that in your desk itself. This protein bar, I found this to be better than Max Protein or any of the other fancy proteins, because one bar of that has about 180 calories and 21 grams of protein, which is great. That is something that is a superb option for any sweet cravings, or whenever you feel hungry but not so hungry that you want to have bhel or something heavy. Makhana, this brand is my personal favorite. I like the cream and onion and the pink Himalayan salt. These are two things that I've liked. I didn't like the other flavors, but you all can definitely try it out. Dried fruits are a great option again, but not more than 30 grams or 1/3 cup at a time. Beaten chana or chana jor garam, you get options, lot of options in the market. If you don't want to get this specific brand, that's fine. But whatever brand you're getting, turn it around, look at the ingredient label, and make sure that there's not a lot of palm oil in it. Then coming to the key micronutrients. Now, the reason there are multiple micronutrients over there, right? The most important one is vitamin D, iron, magnesium, and B vitamins. Vitamin D is required for the sole reason of absorbing calcium into your bones. If there is no vitamin D, the absorption will not happen and you will be at risk of getting fractures, knee pain, spondylitis, back pain. And given that you are sitting throughout the day, obviously that's something that is bound to happen if your vitamin D levels are not high. Usually a supplement of once a week is recommended. So I would recommend that as well, but get your levels checked. If a doctor finds those levels too low, ask him to put you on a once a week supplement. Iron, in women, I would say 7 out of 10 women are iron deficient, only because the requirement of iron is higher in women compared to men, given that women have their periods on a monthly basis. So add spinach wherever you can. Ideally, try making your dals with spinach or make your protein with spinach. Dates also have some form of spinach, some form of iron into it. So you can have about 1 to 2 dates whenever you want to. Chickpeas are a great option again. Poha is something that's high in iron. The only reason it's high is because whenever the rice is rolled into poha, they use like a iron thing to roll it. So that's how the iron content of poha is higher. Magnesium, a lot of y'all might notice, y'all might have a lot of muscle pulls, or might suddenly feel a little droopy or sleepy in the day, and that's because of magnesium. Cool, perfect. Yeah, so that's about the micronutrients. This is again something that you all can take a screenshot of. We are towards the end of the presentation. So like I said, so just putting everything into one slide. You start your day with a glass of water and some fiber, either in the form of a fruit juice, vegetable juice, a combination of fruit and vegetable juice, or eat a fruit. Make sure you eat a breakfast and only then leave home. Do not leave home without breakfast, or reach office and eat your breakfast, but eat breakfast as soon as possible after waking up. I usually tell people give yourself about an hour and a half and then eat it. Make sure that your breakfast is not just a bowl of fruits, a glass of milk, or some people just have protein shake. Now, your breakfast has to have some protein, carbohydrates, and fiber, like the photos I've showed you all. Don't start your day with caffeine. Have your first cup of tea or coffee an hour before lunch, so the caffeine high stays. Remember a healthy plate. Now, your plate again has to be divided into 3 segments: 50% veggies. Sorry, the percentages are wrong. 50% veggies, 25% carbs, 25% protein. That'll make sure that your plate seems, your appetite stays, you stay full throughout, and it does not cause you to have a small appetite or makes you feel hungry quite often. So choose a healthy snack in the option in the evening. I usually tell people try having 2 fruits in a day. That is mandatory. Try not exceeding that number. You can have another snack. Some people go and have 5, 6 fruits in a day without leaving any room for other food groups. Keep your dinner lower on carbs and high on protein. That does not mean you avoid carbs. You can, instead of having 3 rotis or 4 rotis or 2 rotis, bring it down to 1 roti. Replace your dosas or your pohas or upmas with pesarettus or moong chilas if you can, or you can do like a nice big bowl of a sprouts or a chole salad or something like that. Consider supplementation if your micro and macronutrient, if you consider an iron tablet, if you're deficient in a lot of nutrients and you feel you get deficient quite a lot, take a multivitamin. If your protein intake is not high, being a vegetarian or even being a non-vegetarian, if you're not able to meet your protein intake, protein shakes are pretty safe. One last most important thing is meal prepping. Meal prepping is something that will definitely help you eat healthy throughout the week. I usually tell people to prep your meals for the next week, meaning plan whatever you want to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on a Saturday, shop on a Sunday, and finish cooking on a Sunday itself. Keep your meal simple. For example, dal chawal sabji is a perfect way to get started. You can just do rajma chawal with some salad or a raita. You can do roti sabji with paneer. You can do a khichdi with some raita. Multiple options. Just need to figure ways out on how you can keep it simple. Chop all your veggies on the weekend so that weekdays all it is cooking. That's it. All you just need to do is throw things together. If you don't want to meal prep on a weekend, if you want to do it then and there, just chop all your veggies and keep them in boxes. So think of sustainable choices. Think about something that you can do for the rest of your life, not something that you will do for 1 week. So don't do roasted vegetables with roasted chicken and quinoa because you'll do it for 1 week and then after that you'll want your dal chawal. So just think of something that is possible and that's convenient for you. Then batch cooking. A lot of people feel that nahi fridge ka khana nahi khana chahiye. You have to have fresh food. Nothing like that. Cook a nice big batch of 1 kg of chicken. Divide it into 4 different meals. Put it in your fridge. Forget about it. Cooked food will stay. Don't worry about it. If you want to if you want to cook frozen food, that's fine too, but it needs to be fresh frozen. Now, it should not be something like chicken nuggets. It can be something like raw chicken that you've marinated and kept in the freezer. That's still fine. Subscribe to meal services like Homely Fit, or there are multiple other dabba services, just so you stay at the top of your game. If you want to get on track with your lifestyle, just start waking up an hour early so you have time to put all of this together. Because you might think, Abba, not today, tomorrow I'll start, day after I'll start, Monday say I'll start, Jan 1st say I'll start. It will never happen. You just need to get up and do it. This is how your life is going to be. It is going to be hectic. You've signed up for a 9 to 5 job, so it's going to be super hectic. You just need to figure out how to look after yourself during that time. So that's it. We're done. There are QR codes for my Instagram handle and Ethika's YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to get in touch, you can do that. And I think, Ritu, we can take questions now.
Somebody is asking, is alcohol good for health?
Alcohol is not good for health, no matter. So WHO themselves have said that no amount of alcohol is considered safe. Alcohol is processed by our body as a toxin. Earlier, there were these debates that, oh, Diet Coke causes cancer, all of that, blah, blah, blah. The thing about Diet Coke is there is no definitive evidence that it causes cancer, and the safe limit is 20 cans a day. Up to that is what is fine, but I'm not saying go and have 20 cans. But alcohol is known to cause cancer. There is research, there is evidence out there saying that alcohol will cause cancer. So you can choose to cut it down. Don't have to get off it if you want to. The safest option, I would say, is not more than 4 standard drinks in a week. Try staying below that level.
So is it safe to take protein powder?
It is absolutely safe to take protein powder. Recently, NIN or ICMR, they had come up with this guideline saying, oh, protein powder is not safe. But you know what? They didn't have any references to support that claim. Protein powder is nothing but whey isolate, or plant-based protein. Completely safe. It's just been processed in such a way that only the protein components are derived from it. A scoop of protein powder is considered to be safe. Try not doing more than that, and try meeting your protein intake through food. But ideally, protein powder 1 scoop a day should be okay, unless you have goals of bulking up.
I was 77 kgs. After my marriage, I stopped working out in the gym. Now my weight is
Okay.
increased to 96 kg. I don't
Okay.
take junk foods. If I take sweets, I get a headache.
Mhm. Okay.
So what is the measures I need to take, ma'am, to reduce
So
my
it's
weight
going
loss?
it's going to be a little difficult to give me to for me to give you personalized advice, Santosh. But whatever we've spoken about in the entire presentation, especially in regards to portion sizes, in regards to healthy snacking, making sure you're working out throughout the day, all of that is super important. For starters, if you want to get started, my suggestion is just to stick to what we've discussed today, which is making sure that you're having a lot of vegetables in every meal, some form of protein, and keeping your dinners light. I think just these changes, along with increasing your water intake, is something that will definitely help you.
Ma'am, is Shilajit good, ma'am? Taking
It
Shilajit.
depends. I honestly find it very controversial to even comment on that, but I don't give Shilajit. Shilajit is still, I would say, the benefits of that are still being studied. There is no research that says Shilajit is good. And when I say research, I mean a good quality paper. A lot of them have conflicting evidence. So a lot of Ayurvedic companies have funded those researches. So I would say there is no need to take Shilajit. If people have survived without Shilajit before, and you can continue doing that even now.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I take 5 cups of coffee per day. It's good.
Yeah, so like we said, like it was mentioned in the presentation, drop it down to 2 cups, don't exceed 2 cups.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, to control the
Yep.
hair fall, which food would be the better, ma'am?
Which food?
Will be better to control the hair fall.
So you'll have to get a complete blood test done first. You'll have to get your iron levels checked. You'll have to get folic acid levels checked, vitamin D, vitamin B12. Sometimes a nutrient deficiency can cause hair fall. Most often it is iron and protein. So there is no one size fits all for hair fall. Everyone has hair fall for multiple different reasons. So you have to dwell into what reason it could be and then address that.
Hey, hi. I was going through the entire slides. I found the content really helpful, but I just want to
I'm glad.
understand. Yeah, and just wanted to understand because there are people who want to gain weight, lose weight, fat loss, and others. So
Yeah.
when you mention a preparation of meals, stored foods, entire I mean the size of your plate and everything. So what
Hmm.
about calorie intake should
Yeah.
be for a ideal in I mean somebody is trying to lose weight or I mean they're into fat loss, so what should be the basic calorie intake for a day for a person, and
Yeah.
how does it differ for a male and female again?
So there is a equation. In that equation, we enter your height, your weight, your activity levels, and it gives us a number. That number is considered to be your BMR or basal metabolic rate, meaning that on a daily basis, not even considering nutrition, but just for your body to function, those are the amount of calories required. It honestly depends on height and weight. So there's no one size fits all solution for that. So it can be anywhere from 1200 to 2200 calories.
Hmm.
In order to gain weight, we say add 500 calories to your BMR to gain weight. That will make you gain about half a kg to 1 kg a week. In order to lose weight, we say minus 500 kilocalories.
Hmm.
So 90% of the time, we don't want to go below 1200 calories for weight loss, only because anything below 1200 will make you put the weight back on once you finish your diet programs.
True.
So yeah, so 1200 is the bare minimum we want someone to be at, but we don't really decide numbers per se. Now, coming to the portion sizes that you were talking about, the way it's done, the way our guidelines are in nutrition, it is serve sizes or portion sizes or calories. The serve sizes that we spoke about, like when we are talking about our plate, it is already pre-calculated, meaning 1/4 cup of carbohydrates, or sorry, 1/4 plate of carbohydrates is about 1 cup, which is about 200 calories. That is set by default. So that
Hmm.
is just taken into consideration to make sure ki for a healthy person, this is how your plate is supposed to look. For someone who's trying to lose weight, ideally in India, I just ask people to go back to the healthy plate, only because our plate in India is predominantly rice. So rice is the entire plate, and then side mein we'll take some curry and some dal and
Correct.
all that. So even if you just reverse that and just go to the healthy eating plate, you will start losing weight. To gain weight, macros need to be modified in terms of carbohydrate needs to be increased, but protein needs to be increased, etc.
But just wanted to understand if in case your body is like already hit the plateau or you are on a saturation mode, when even we
Yeah,
take a scoop of 1 scoop of protein also, it contains like 126 of calories. So
yeah.
so that is fine. So calorie intake, how a person should understand and how they can calculate that what.
So it's not always calorie in is equal to calories out, or if you want to lose weight, you drop your calories or anything like that, right?
Mhm.
We're also talking about the macronutrients, which is protein. Most of the times, what ends up happening is our protein intake is less. Protein is something that keeps you full, keeps your metabolism high, which, so let me go back one step. Most of us, when we want to lose weight, we start avoiding food, we reduce our quantity of food, and we have very low calories in our diet. When you have very low calories, your metabolism gets royally messed up, meaning that if in the future you have a little more calories than what you've eaten for, let's say, prolonged 3 months, you'll gain weight, right? That's because your body
Okay.
does not know how to function with higher calories. But if you are eating your BMR, or your basal metabolic rate, how many calories your body requires in a day, your body is happy because it can perform the rest of its function. Now, if you're working out, the requirement is higher of the calories, meaning you're eating 1500 calories a day, but when you're working out, your body needs 17 to 1800 calories a day. Now, where will your body get those extra calories from? It'll start burning your fat levels. But if you're only going to eat 1200 calories, your body is not getting enough of energy primarily to focus on its functions, to then focus on your fat loss, right? So what
Okay.
your body is going to do is it's going to start getting scared that, oh, this lady is not giving me enough of nutrition. So
Mhm.
I think next time she eats, I need to start storing it for the time she's not giving me food. So
All right.
instead of body focusing on the fat loss, the next time you eat, your body will store that as fat. That's when you reach the plateau. And that's when you can't break it. So whenever you are trying to lose weight, ideally go to a registered dietitian or an accredited practicing dietitian, or someone who has the qualifications of being a dietitian, not these people on Instagram or YouTube calling themselves nutritionists by just doing a month's degree.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, perfect.
Let me take few questions from the chat. Does green tea contains caffeine?
Green tea contains caffeine in smaller quantities, but it's lesser than coffee and lesser than tea, but it still contains caffeine.
Yeah. So how about tulsi drop?
Tulsi ginger tea does not contain caffeine. Organic India is an amazing brand for great Tulsi teas.
Yeah. So somebody, Vamshi is asking food to increase gut health.
Gut health is a very, 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 very broad topic. Ideally, when you want to get started off with improving your gut health, first thing is keep yourself hydrated. Second thing is making sure that you're having, so again, gut health can be multifactorial, meaning you have acid reflux issues, you might have constipation, diarrhea, bloating, flatulence, a lot of that, right? So everything has a lot of, every problem has different solutions. It's not one size fits all over there again. But by default, what I tell people is to drop the amount of processed carbs that they're having, switch to a form of whole grain carbs, meaning instead of white rice, do a lot of brown rice or red rice. Do more rotis. Instead of doing simple dosas and idlis, try doing millet dosas, millet idlis, and have a lot of vegetables. Vegetables are super important. But if you have reflux, raw veggies will not help. It will only worsen it. So you have to stick to cooked vegetables.
So Manaswini has asked, but isn't green chilies good for health as they are rich in vitamin C? Can we have it raw during lunch?
Green chilies is good for health because it has vitamin C, but it's also bad for your gut because it'll end up burning the internal layer if you have a lot of it. Lot of people, when they have green chilies, they'll have it now, but 20 years later, when you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, your tolerance to spice is going to be zero, because one, your taste buds are completely messed up and your internal lining is also irritated. So ideally, if you want to have more spice, have it in the form of pepper. If you want to do green chilies, try cooking it a little so that that active component is a little toned down.
Hey, hi Shwamya.
Hi.
Hey. So I want to know what is the benefit of intermittent fasting and
Okay.
it's good for health.
Mm-hmm.
So
So intermittent fasting is something that anyone can do. I would prefer men do it instead of women. For women, intermittent fasting does not support hormonal health at all. When it comes to men, a lot of people find that eating only for an 8-hour window is easier for them, and they can reduce the number of calories in an overall day just by eating in those 8 hours, which is not wrong. It's absolutely true. Intermittent fasting has also been shown to enhance your muscle recovery, and as well as, like, a lot of bodybuilders also prefer intermittent fasting as well. But it's not mandatory. Whatever you're trying to achieve, whether it be weight loss or weight gain, can be done through a regular diet. Intermittent fasting comes down again to preference. Only if you feel it's easier for you to eat between 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., then that's
mm,
fine. If you feel
yeah,
that's more convenient, go for it. But if there's no such need, then I would say you don't have to do intermittent fasting.
okay. If I am started intermittent, so
Yeah.
I need to do workout or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Intermittent fasting is only your diet aspect, right? Your
Hmm.
workout is something that still has to happen on a regular basis. If someone tells you you can lose weight or build muscle by just eating and not doing workouts, they're absolutely wrong. Run in the other direction.
Okay.
Um, you have to do workouts and your diet together.
So what type of workout on this if I am started intermittent? So what type of workout like walking or cardio?
So it depends from person to person, body to body. I can't give workout advice without knowing your history.
Okay.
So usually people do a combination of weight training and cardio that works for them. And research also advises to do a combination of cardio and weight training, not only one of that.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Amna.
no worries, all good.
Yeah. So from Sina, we are having a question. What about the calorie intake in a day?
We've addressed that just now.
Yeah. Is it okay having vitamin D tablets?
It's absolutely okay, but given the concentration that you're having, and so if you're having a 60,000 IU capsule, please see your doctor. It can't be taken in high doses. If you're having 1,000 IU capsule daily, it's completely fine. But again, get your levels checked before you jump onto a supplement. Sometimes it might not even be needed.
Yeah. Shruti has a doubt. Please suggest vitamin B12 and vitamin D deficiency for vegetarians.
So vitamin B12, it's very difficult for vegetarians because the only source of vitamin B12 is animal products or meat or anything derived from animals like dairy, paneer, curd, milk, all of that. By default, I ask people, even though I am a dietitian, I ask people to take injections of B12 yearly once. The requirement of B12 is always going to be there. B12 is required to create or manufacture your red blood cells. If you're not going to have red blood, if you're not going to have B12 in your bloodstream, red blood cell, you'll start having a hemoglobin deficiency. Your cells will not function properly. They'll start becoming different in size, different in structure. All of that's going to be an issue. So taking a dose of 6 shots of vitamin B12, 6 to 12, depends on your levels. 6 to 12 shots of vitamin B12 on a yearly basis is something that will help.
Surya, you can speak now.
Uh, hey Samya, thanks for the session. It's been very helpful. But my question is regarding due to my work conditions, I stay up till 12 or 1 a.m. in the evening and wake
Okay.
up at 12 p.m. in the afternoon.
So you're a shift
S-
worker?
Yeah, we can say that.
Okay, got it.
So how should I should I For now, I'm taking a 2 meal day, like lunch and a dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch will be at 1:30 and dinner will be at let's say 8:30 to 9:30 in between.
Got it.
So I'm maintaining my weight, but I want to know like should I add another meal or should I keep it as it is? Just a suggestion,
So
not like an
yeah,
in-depth
yeah.
one.
So for shift workers, usually the rule of thumb is you have to reset your circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm is nothing but our body's clock. Our body is designed to go to sleep by 10 and wake up by 6. Shift workers'
Yes.
circadian rhythm is a little different, right? So you still
Mm-hmm.
have to consider your 12 p.m. in the afternoon to be 6 a.m. in the morning and then do your entire routine. So your breakfast will have to be at 8 o'clock in the morning, which will be 2 o'clock for you. Your lunch will
Mm-hmm.
have to be at 6 in the evening, and then your dinner will have to be like at 10 in the night. So
Okay.
ideally, you just have to restructure your clock in such a way that you're getting all the nutrition at the right time.
Okay.
Only thing that's a little different for shift workers is your last meal needs to
Mm-hmm.
be definitely mandatory low on carb. It just has to be high in protein and high in fiber. So your last meal has to be really light. Your breakfast
Okay.
can be super heavy. When I say super heavy, I don't mean 10 idli, but like 3 or 4 idlis with some vegetables, chutney or sambar. And then you
Okay.
do a lunch and then you do a dinner as well. And in between, you can do fruits whenever you're hungry, or you can do a protein shake as well.
And one more thing regarding the fruits, like
Yeah.
they are perishable, like they have a lifespan of very low. But are there any
Hmm.
alternatives that can stay a bit longer fresh? Like I can eat a little bit longer.
So you can get fruits for 3 days and they'll stay. You don't have to get fruits for 2 weeks. You can
Yeah.
get a banana, you can get an apple. Bananas, if you get them absolutely yellow, they can stay at least for 4 or 5 days because it'll take them that much more time to ripen. Apples again have a very, very long lifespan and shelf life, and oranges as well. So even if you can manage with these three fruits, you'll
Mhm.
just have to take it to work, right? So even if you're in an AC environment, so
Yeah.
even if you just take it, put it in your desk or put it on your table, you're fine. They're not going to get spoiled.
Okay. Are there like I just want to know, are there any alternatives we can reach out to if we are away from fruits?
Not really. Fruits and vegetables are not, sorry, fruits cannot be used as like in the form of a juice. So it's not considered a healthy alternative only because if I give you a glass of if I give you a glass of orange juice that has about 5 oranges, but you're not going
That's not. But what I'm asking is, are there any nutrient substitute for fruits like let's say that
Not
can
really.
stay?
These fruits have multivitamins and they have fiber. So you shouldn't be relying on something to supplement fruits because
Okay.
fruits are the most easiest things to eat.
Okay. Got it. Got it. So yeah, those are all the questions I have, and thank you so much. Yeah, thanks so much.
No problem. All good.
Yeah. From Vipin, we have a question. Magnesium is required for vitamin D activation, right?
Magnesium is required for vitamin D activation, but it's not like if you don't have magnesium, vitamin D is not going to get activated. You have magnesium kept in your body at all times.
Oh. So what's better to start our day with chia seeds, lemon water, or anything else? What would you recommend?
You can start your day with regular water. You don't have to do lemon water, and you don't have to do lemon water and chia seeds. Just regular water will help.
Yeah. So what is the benefit of intermittent fasting?
Already covered it.
Yeah. Since Mosha is asking, since an year I am not having a breakfast due to working hours. How my health will be affected? Can you please tell me any plans without cooking? What is cooking? Yeah.
You can just have oats and wheat flakes for breakfast or cornflakes for breakfast along with some fruit. That's an easy breakfast option. You can even do eggs and bread. Does not require a lot of cooking time. But having a breakfast is mandatory because you can't do without it. People who tell you otherwise, nah.
Yeah. Somebody is asking, please suggest better cooking oil.
Uh, it's a very complicated question, but just make sure that you're not doing coconut oil. You're not doing canola oil. You can do any other cold pressed oils.
Is it Is it safe to cut all the veggies on one day for a week? Can we follow this even for onion, tomatoes, etc.?
Absolutely, perfectly fine. Just store them separately in airtight boxes.
Yeah. Hi, Soumya. See, I want to improve my gut health and gain the muscle. So, what are your suggestions in terms of food?
So, Vamshi, I can't give personalized advice that way because I have no idea on your background, your health issues, none of that. That would honestly lead to a consultation. But gut health, we've already addressed. Anything else you wanted to know?
Okay. I missed that gut health topic. Okay.
We'll share the recording with you, Vamshi.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Available in our YouTube channel.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Soumya, and everyone. Thanks for the joining and thanks for this knowledge. We are really grateful that you did this session for us. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and thank
Thank
you so much,
you.
Soumya.
Thanks, Ritu. Take care. Bye-bye.